What is up, Wealth Nation? We are live. Happy Tuesday, everyone.
How's everyone going? We hope you are having an amazing day this Tuesday afternoon.
Yes, we are so excited to join you guys because it's been a minute since we did a live. And so we said, let's go back, get our live chops going so we can interact with you all, answer any questions that you have. But today, what we actually really wanted to focus on was talking about the fact that you have a policy and what do you do? Because I know with Darius and I, when we first started our banking journey, we were really excited to get our policy in the mail. In fact, on one of the thumbnails, you'll see we have like folders of our policies. I'm going to hold the company name just for sensitive reasons. But we have many policies here. And so we were just figuring like, what do we do? and let's go, we still have another one coming up. But anyways, you guys get the point. So we really were like, all right, we have our policies. What happens now? And I think for us, that was the biggest enlightening point, I'd say, at least for me. I don't know about you, Darius, was that, oh, wait, there's still so much more that we have to do.
Yeah, because I think what we get wrapped up and what we got wrapped up on in the beginning was the fact that, okay, we have an insurance policy, but without borrowing from the policy and doing something with the funds, we just have a life insurance policy.
For real.
How do we do banking? You do banking by utilizing those funds to move money.
And by the way, what's up, Derwin and Asia? Thank you guys
Asia,
for joining us today. So what we want to do, we want to dive right into the video. So let's get straight to the goods because it's important that we're able to share this information with you today.
So just kicking it off, did you know that getting a policy is just the start of your banking process? And by the end of this video, you'll learn how to complete one transaction.
Exactly, because that's what we're missing. We get the policy, then what do we do?
Exactly. Now, before we move forward, we always say for the best infinite banking and financial advice, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to be notified when we post new videos.
Ding, ding, ding. Go ahead and handle that, guys. If you haven't subscribed already, we really appreciate your support and your viewership. So like we said, check this out, right? Once you get a policy, all of a sudden banking doesn't just miraculously fall out of the sky.
Right.
Because, there's a lot that goes into the process as far as understanding what your cash value is, understanding when you can access the cash value. And then now that you have the cash value, what are you doing with it?
Right. Now, that first part is the easy part. That's the easy part because life insurance companies, they all have to follow rules.
Yeah.
And within those rules, they have to let you know the cash value. They have to let you know what the interest rates are.
Yeah. So I would say we can basically dissect this into 4 separate parts. So the very first part I would say is when your policy is enforced, you definitely need to make sure that you confirm with the agent and or the insurance company that you're working with to determine what is your cash value availability. So a lot of times the cash value will be on your illustration, but again, now that you have this puppy in your hands, you might as well confirm and reconfirm the amount of money that you have access to.
Right.
Now, the reason why we say when can you access the cash is because depending on your frequency, whenever you're paying your premiums, either you're paying it monthly, quarterly, twice a year, annually, you want to make sure that you understand when you can access the funds. And because, let's say, for example, you pay annually, a lot of the companies allow you to request a loan within the first 30 days of your policy being enforced. However, some companies don't. You may have to wait a full calendar year in order to access that cash. So it's really important that you understand those points.
Absolutely.
What else would you say?
I would say you nailed it.
Thank you.
Yeah, when it comes to getting your funds, you just have to understand what rules that specific company has in place. And if they are pro banking, then it's a lot easier if they're...
Ooh, I like that you said that. Pro banking. Did you hear that? Did you catch that? Darius has like a lot of subliminal messages. I don't know if you guys catch that on some of the videos, but he says stuff. You got to make sure you tune in because a lot of the stuff that Darius says is very powerful. But pro banking
meaning that they support the concept that we're practicing borrowing from our policy and paying it back at a later date.
Yeah, exactly. Because not all insurance companies are created equal as far as the infinite banking concept is concerned.
Exactly. So if you do want to request a loan, depending on the insurance company, you may need to wait 30 days, like Carmen said. And before you request your loan, your first loan, Every company is different. So make sure you understand the differences in the company that you're working with. That's why we work with a variety of different companies, so we can relay to you some of the things that we see when working with our own personal policies.
That's a really good point. And I think requesting a loan is very, very simple, but it can be a completely intimidating process. I think for me, I don't know about you, I think our very first loan, I was like, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? And when the paperwork came, I was just like, is this real? So Darius, share your experience of getting like your first loan request form.
So my first loan request form was basically a form that says my ABA routing number and my checking account number, and that was it. They just basically asked, where do you want the funds to go?
It was, yeah, I think that's for me what was the most alarming part, because having had experience getting loans from banks, you know, the banks have 70 documents that you have to fill out.
15, 20 pages to get a loan.
Yeah. And with the insurance company, for the max, I'd say all insurance companies are different, but max, we've signed 3 pages.
Right. And we're familiar with getting loans from the banks in personal finance because of our experience in real estate investing.
Oh, yeah.
So we're very familiar about the process of going to the banks, going to third-party lenders, and financing things that way.
Yeah. So go ahead, you guys, share in the comments. If you have a current policy, let us know if you've requested your loan, or if you have a policy and haven't requested a loan, then what are you waiting for? Is it time, or is it just you don't have enough cash value availability? Let us know in the comments what you're kind of going through and what your process is.
Nice.
All righty. Derwin says, you're afraid to get a loan. Why, Mr. Derwin?
Oh, so just to preface that, Derwin, you may want to be afraid to get a loan if you have no place to use that loan.
Very good point.
The most important thing that we want to stress is the fact that you have to have some place to put that money, because as soon as you borrow from the insurance company, you're going to be charged interest. So you need to make sure you put that money someplace where you'll be earning more interest than you pay.
Yes. And that is a perfect segue into, I would say, like the third point of this whole process is, what is the quote? Never lose money. And then, or rule number 1, never lose money. And rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. Yeah. That is like the best quote ever, because we need to preface that when it comes to our banking systems. Exactly like Darius said, if you don't have a place for your money, do not request a loan. Do not request a loan, because what you've just done is created an expense for yourself, because now you have to pay the loan back plus the 5% interest that's owed to the insurance company. Right.
So good segue also is before you even think about getting your first loan, you want to make sure you have a repayment schedule for that. You want to have everything set up for the repayment of that loan, not just to the insurance company, but to yourself. Because we've worked with people in the past that have gotten a loan without having a reason or a place to put it. And they end up not only not paying it back to the insurance company, they don't even pay it back to themselves. Yeah. That's the whole point of this concept, is to recapture the interest that you would have paid to someone else for whatever you're planning on financing.
Exactly like Mr. Nelson Nash says, the founder of Infinite Banking, do not steal the peas. And if you don't know what we mean by that, then definitely check out the Becoming Your Own Banker book. Link is in the description.
Yes, definitely buy that book and read it multiple times.
On our kit, you can find the Becoming Your Own Banker book. So exactly what Darius said. What we want to make sure that you do before you request your loan is you have a repayment schedule up front, ready to go, and you have it locked and loaded in your mind, and you already have like the payments automatically set up on your online banking, because it's really important that you make sure you're paying yourself back and you're recapturing the funds.
Yeah, and this is something we do for all of our clients through GPS. What this does is basically you tell us exactly what you want to get accomplished with your loans or your banking system, and we put this into a spreadsheet so you know exactly how much you have available in your loan, what the interest is on this every single year, and how much you'll be recapturing back to yourself for, let's say, you're paying off a credit card, or if you're going to do a real estate deal and finance a house and you have your rental paying you back, which is amazing. So whatever it is that you want to get accomplished, the implementation of it is what the GPS is for, and which we create for All clients.
All of our clients. That is something that is no additional charge to our clients because we understand the importance of the repayment schedule and recapturing. So if you aren't working with us, if you aren't if you aren't part of the Wealth Nation family, then all you need to do is source recapture schedules online, use easy calculators, the letter E, the letter Z, calculators.com, and you can create all of your repayment schedules there and your amortization schedules there. You can do it all there. But it's just a perk that we provide to our clients is making sure you understand how to recapture all of your funds in your banking system.
Exactly.
So I'd say like the fourth point to kind of wrap this all up is actually making the payments. I know that sounds funny, but it's real.
Yeah, and the easiest way to do that is to create an automatic payment. Because the only thing you're doing is, as you're paying yourself back, you're moving it from one place to the other.
Yeah, and when we say actually making the payments, because you get your loan, you have your payment plan in place, and then all of a sudden the 15th of the month comes and you got to pay yourself. And sometimes that can be a little bit of a mind shift, recognizing that you're literally just moving your cash from one account to the next account and you still have the money.
Exactly.
I think that's something that I struggled with is I was still thinking about it as, oh, money's leaving. And then when I saw it in the other account, I'm like, wait a second. It really didn't leave. And that's the beautiful part about infinite banking.
Yeah. And Derwin, for example, in order for you to live where you live, in order to eat the food that you eat, in order for you to drive where you drive, you have to spend money. And that's the whole idea of this concept. When you read the first page of the book, it just talks about recapturing the interest for your major purchases.
Yeah.
Derwin, you may think you don't have some type of cash flow, but you're creating cash flow for someone from the money that you spend.
Yeah, I think that it's really important that you're just in tune with that. And because when we talk about banking, we're not talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's all about recapturing the money that you're currently spending.
Right. We create our own economy.
And think about all of the money that is leaving your bank account every single month. Your water bill, your cell phone bill, your electricity bill, your credit card payments, your car payment, your student loans, whatever the case may be. That's a lot of money that is leaving your system every single month.
Exactly. Because think about it. After taxes, you do your taxes at the end of the year. After taxes, you brought home, let's say, $50,000. Now, in your bank account, you don't have $50,000 because you created cash flows for some other business or someone else.
True. Exactly. So with the banking system, we got to hone in on our personal finances first and foremost, determine exactly what's leaving us on a monthly basis, and then create a process to get that money back.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like a budget.
It does.
Yeah.
Sound like a budget. It's a fancy budget. And with infinite banking, we'll say it's a sexy budget. It's a hella sexy budget because you're getting your money back, baby. That's all that we're talking about.
There you go.
So we are so thrilled that you all decided to join us today. If you are not a client, if you have not joined the Wealth Nation family, then absolutely click in the description to become our client. We would love to work with you to help you keep as much money as you possibly can and to create a legacy not only for yourself, but for your children's children.
Yes.
Because that's the name of the game.
Yeah, and one thing I want you to keep in mind is don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it. The only thing we're doing is you have a whole life insurance policy. When you borrow from it and use it, that's when you start doing banking.
Yeah, it's that simple, says the guy who can overcomplicate things.
Yes.
But we love Darius because he's the one who creates all the analytical stuff that we definitely need to create our own banking system and to make it thrive. So Mr. Britt is a huge asset to the team because he looks at a lot of things that I don't, which makes our unity work very, very well.
Yes, and thank you very much, babe.
You're welcome. But you guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to look at the questions and see if there's anything else that we missed. Robert, I don't think you missed much. I'm not sure when you joined, but thank you for joining and hanging out with us this evening. And Derwin, you were saying maybe you can loan money to family members. Oh, yes, absolutely. Darius, can you share the loan that you did?
No, because my sister might be watching.
You put her name out there. You didn't have to, or not name. So there was a family member
and who needed some funds, and we just happened to charge a large amount of interest.
Yeah, and it really wasn't even, it's $20. $20 was the difference, but $20 actually ended up being how much of a return? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay, it was a lot. Maybe we'll do another video showing you how that breakdown goes and including that family member so that she's comfortable with it.
Yes.
So let's see, Ashanti, I still want to work with you guys. We want to work with you too. So we'll see you in November or October then.
Ashanti, I like that name.
I know. I almost want to start singing Ashanti.
I was about to say,
don't do it. All right, Erin Nicole TV, thank you for the applause. And Derwin, okay, thanks. I will look more into that point. Absolutely.
So Robert asked the question, what's the difference between a segregated account and velocity banking? Velocity banking is a matter of using 0% interest credit cards to cash flow.
Yeah, pay down debt.
Pay down debt.
Cash flow, whatever it is.
Segregated account is only a place where when we borrow from our insurance policy, we use our segregated account to pay ourselves back into. So the interest that we would have paid, let's say for a car loan, we pay it back into our segregated account so we can reuse those funds. Segregated account gives us the ability to maintain our liquidity.
Yes, which is very similar to the concept of velocity banking when you think about it, because it's literally just a storage facility for us to hold our repayments in. And then from that segregated account, we take money out to make more payments otherwhere so that we can bring in more recapture payments.
Right.
So we're velocity banking, you're borrowing from this credit card, you're borrowing from this credit card, maybe you're paycheck parking and you're moving money around. That the whole concept between infinite banking and velocity banking is we're moving money.
Yep.
That's all we're doing. So with velocity banking, you're more so obtaining your finances from the bank, whereas with infinite banking, you're obtaining your financing from the insurance company.
Yep.
So that's a kind of simple comparison. But that's that. Thank you guys so much for your questions and for hanging out with us. It has been 17 minutes of your time on this precious Tuesday evening. But you guys, thank you so much. Our YouTube channel has been growing by leaps and bounds. And we are just so thankful for your viewership, for your comments, for all your questions, because at the end of the day, not only are you challenging Darius and I every single day, it just allows us to help so many more people become their own source of financing.
Absolutely. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you click on the link below to become our client. And always remember to own your own lifestyle.
Or someone else will.